What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Open Table Sports Podcast. We have been away for 2 weeks. Been a little busy. Dom has been working at Dick's over there.
Yeah.
What's going on, Dom?
It's been a long few weeks. Good to be back on the podcast. I know.
I hate doing it. I hate doing it at the desk in my room.
I know.
It's really a pain in the ass. I don't like it. I want to get back to our studio. We might have a new studio, depending on, what goes on, what we can check out. Going live on YouTube is such a pain in the ass because we really can't put it on SoundCloud. It's a pain in the ass, but
just in over a month, we'll be back full force.
I know we only have three or four more podcasts on here before, we're ready. And it's just so much easier being in a studio. It's a better feel. I feel like right now I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little weird. Hopefully no one texts me during this. But yeah, we're going to get right into it. Not much happened this week, but we're going to be talking about NBA free agency. We're going to be talking about NFL a little bit, talking about WWE Extreme Rules. We have a lot of questions today from some loyal viewers. Some quick pitch. I know I wanted to change some of the formatting of the podcast, but I don't know. I decided against it while I was doing the script and everything, but we'll get right into it. 76ers signed point guard Ben Simmons to a 5-year, $170 million contract extension. I was actually outside the Wells Fargo Center when this news broke, which was pretty interesting. I know he wasn't there, but it's still cool to be outside the arena when this happened because I was at Extreme Rules Sunday. I was in Philly Sunday and Monday filming some stuff. But yeah, interesting contract for him. I don't think he deserves it, to be honest. Player that can't really shoot. He's a good scorer, but I don't think he's a consistent scorer. He definitely did not deserve a max contract like this.
Yeah, no, it's interesting for a guy that can't do anything other than really, drive. And, I guess he's he has potential to be a good leader, but I don't know. He just hasn't proven enough to get that type of contract yet. Just not.
Then I'll read you his stats. He's only played 2 years in the NBA, and he's already getting $170 million. And both years, he's averaged 16 points per game. 16 points per game.
That's not too good for a point guard.
And then rebounds. 8.5 rebounds per game, pretty good. But you got to remember, he's a bigger point guard too. He's not just one of those 6'1" point guards. I think. How tall is Ben Simmons?
He's up there. I mean,
how tall is Ben Simmons? He's 6'10". So I mean, he's not your average point guard. You can say. I know they like to add a couple inches on to their height. Well, sort of a couple people that like adding inches. In assists, he averaged 8 assists per game, which is pretty good. But I think his assists are going to go down this next year because he doesn't have as much shooters.
Yep.
He's not going to have Butler. He's not going to have Redick. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the 76ers. He averaged 16, 8, and 8. If that warrants $170 million over 5 years, I mean, come on, man. Like, what's Rondo? Rondo can get like $100 million then.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get he's like a big star and everything, and he's a big name and the whole thing that he was, 2-time Rookie of the Year or whatever. But come on, like, where do you draw the line in these big contracts? And then this is when you get a player like Russell Westbrook demanding $500 million for 2 years because of contracts like this for halfway decent players.
Yeah, because I think Russell Westbrook, has more to his game than Ben Simmons. And
people still shit on Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, and, I just think it's inexcusable to be a point guard in the NBA and to not even be able to shoot a three. I mean, you got to be. I just don't see how you can do that. And his
mid-range isn't even that good either. That's the thing.
He's 0 for 17 in his career for three. Like, I just It just does. It's just mind-boggling. It's with these NBA teams. These nowadays they will offer their star player a max contract no matter what they do.
I don't. They have a lot of money tied up in their starting five, the 76ers.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be a good team. They're probably going to be the best team in the East. Right now, as it's looking, is Clippers and 76ers, both red, white, and blue.
Yeah.
In the finals. I mean, if I had to choose, I don't think the Lakers are championship contenders, but we'll talk about that later because we have a question about it in the halftime viewer mail. But I don't get this contract. It does not make sense, especially for the 76ers, who haven't been used to paying players a lot because they've been shit.
Yeah.
Before 2017, that team was shit for years. So they're going to overpay players. But $170 million for a player who averages 16, 8, and 8 over 2 years, if going into the league and averaging that in 2 years warrants $170 million, sign me up. Because I don't know where this league stands right now, giving these players, especially Tobias Harris, what did he get, like $160 million or $180 million?
Yeah, and he's not even a top guy.
He did have a good year last year. We did talk about it on the NBA free agency episode we had. I think that was months ago. That was we were back in the studio, so that was late April.
Yeah. You went down like the top 50 NBA free agents.
And that was one of our last episodes in the studio.
Yeah.
But Ben Simmons getting this much money. They have so much money tied up. Embiid deserves it, though. Embiid deserves it. He's he's a top 5 center in the league. So I have no problem with him getting this type of money. But Ben Simmons, I don't know. You got to draw the line somewhere in here. You think the 76ers are going to be contenders?
I mean, they're going to be contenders for sure. I think, like you said, they have the potential to be the top team in the East now that the Raptors aren't going to be the top team most likely. So, yeah, they could. They have the potential to make the finals. Whether they can match up in the finals with the top West team, I don't know. I think it'd be crazy to say the Lakers do make the finals somehow and the Sixers do. I think LeBron on Ben Simmons, you get two of the taller, bigger point guards in the league on each other. Because, we haven't seen someone like as dominant and big at the point guard position since really Magic Johnson.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at his numbers too. It's just even his free throw percentage, 58% from free throw.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's awful.
You had people like Shaq shooting that.
Dude, I don't know how we got 170 million. It just boggles my mind. But whatever. We're going to move on from that. We're going to get into the thoughts and reactions as NBA free agency wraps up. In this next coming week, we'll be seeing more like the lower free agents getting signed. Overall, what the hell did I do? All right, whatever. I gotta go in here on my phone.
One thing I do have to say, I think Ben Simmons, the Sixers may have done that just to prevent him from being open to the Lakers. I know he probably wouldn't have, but I know there were, months ago there were rumors of maybe him being traded to the Lakers or something crazy like that. So maybe this is just
a couple months ago. I think it was Stephen A. Smith who said that there are some clown said it that both teams were talking about trading like LeBron for Ben Simmons and like Tobias Harris or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I wouldn't even do that if I were the Lakers. That's not really a good haul. I mean, Simmons, I don't think he's that good, to be honest. Look at the stats. I always say to people, "Oh, he's Ben Simmons. He can do this and that. He can score." It's like, is he really a scorer with 16 points per game over 2 years?
No, not at all.
That's not a star to me. That's a good bench player or an average starter, in my opinion.
because you know all the minutes he's playing. So I mean,
He averaged 34 minutes per game.
yeah, and it only gets 16 points. I mean, that's less than half your minutes you play.
And you got to think each shot is worth 2 points. So basically, it's 8 buckets a game in 34 minutes.
Yeah, it's like a bucket every 4 minutes.
And when you're the primary point guard and you're supposed to be some all-star, number 1 overall pick, rookie of the year, like, really?
And Embiid's a better shooter than you, and he's a center?
I don't know where they draw the line. I don't think he's an all-star, to be honest. He's a big name for some reason, but I don't know. Maybe because he's a number 1 overall pick. So is Anthony Bennett, fucking clown. So we're going to get into the top free agents. So Kawhi Leonard, he signed with the Clippers. They were one of the contenders for him, but they weren't like a front runner. Got a good amount of money. What the hell?
Yeah, that all kind of came to fruition in an instant. Like, it just kind of like all broke. Like, he got them to get Paul George, and then
yeah, because they got Paul George in exchange for a number of draft picks, guard Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and forward Danilo Gallinari. I mean, it's not really that even, but what are you gonna do?
yeah.
Thunder gonna have a lot of draft picks, though. I was talking to a coworker who is a Thunder fan, and he says he really doesn't care. Why would he? But he said in like 4 or 5 years, they could probably be the best team in the league.
Yeah, I mean, if they play their picks right, they can make a whole team on these picks. So they're going to be really young, and that's pretty good as they were getting a little older.
And they're still getting ready to trade Steven Adams as well. So, I don't know. And then you got Kevin Durant and a shocker going to the Nets. 4 years, $164 million. Everyone thought he was going to go to the Knicks. And then if not, then return to the Warriors. The Nets were in conversation to probably get him if Kyrie went there, but everyone knows he's not going to play in this next year. But the year after that, they're looking pretty scary. They're going to have Kyrie at the 1, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. It's going to be a good team.
Yeah, definitely a top
2 years.
Top team in the East. And it depends on if KD comes back 100%. Because Achilles
he's going to be a little bit older, coming off an Achilles injury, especially at his size and stature. It's going to be tough. In my opinion, I don't think he comes back the same way 100%. I think we will see a little bit dip in production.
It's definitely a risk the Nets took by offering him a max contract and knowing that 1 year isn't even going to be played. And then 3 years after that, you don't even know if he's going to be the same. Yeah.
This very well might be the last contract of his career.
So do you think if the Knicks offered the max, he would have still went to the Knicks?
No. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's just too tempting to have DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie go there. Especially they sign. No one was talking about Garrett Temple. That's a good bench signing for them.
No, definitely be strong off the bench. Yeah, I think everything kind of lined up. I think the Kyrie signing was just enough to send KD over the board.
I don't know. Yeah. And as we're talking about Kyrie, he got a 4-year, $142 million contract with the Nets. Probably, I don't know about the best duo in the league. I think the best duo is Kawhi and Paul George. Same thing you could say about LeBron. He's getting older. He had his fair share of injuries last year. So who knows what?
How much longer can he play? I mean, can't play forever.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying about Tom Brady. This could be his last year of stardom, I guess you could say. But even last year, Tom Brady had his times. He wasn't as, spectacular.
That Super Bowl was pretty bad. He was not good at all in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, my back hurts. It's been hurting for a couple of days. Nets are definitely going to be a top contender along with the 76ers. I want to see that Eastern Conference Finals. And what is it going to be? 2021. Wow.
But I mean, if you look at it, I think this is a big year for Kyrie because he doesn't have Kevin Durant, so he's really the leader of this team right now. So he could prove a lot if he takes the Nets.
Yeah, Kyrie is a leader. That'll go well. Kemba Walker signed a 4-year, $141 million contract with the Boston Celtics. Man, I don't know what you can say about the Celtics. And then they signed Enes Kanter as well. Enes Kanter's a clown. Everyone says, oh, he trolls people. It's not trolling. He's an average player who talks like he's one of the best players in the league. I think he's a complete clown.
Yeah.
I get he brings entertainment and everything. That's what, sports needs, an entertaining person. He's not entertaining. He's a fucking clown.
Yeah.
I don't like what he does. I think it's dumb. It's not funny. I don't know how these people do think it is funny. But
we got a lot of clowns out there in the sports world, watching. So you never know.
Yeah. What do you think about Kemba Walker to the not the Hornets? Because it says here, I forgot about this. Terry Rozier, did you see the money he got? He got like 3 years, $62 million, I believe. Whoever the fuck would pay Terry Rozier that much money? Oh my God. How in the fuck could you give Terry Rozier anything over $20? I have no idea how you could give Terry Rozier. I wouldn't even look at him if I were the Knicks. If he called me, I wouldn't even answer. I'd have him blocked. I wouldn't. And the Knicks had interest in him. Holy shit. Why even look at him?
Who didn't the Knicks have interest in, though? I mean, God.
Knicks had interest in everyone. They were about to sign Magic Johnson after he left the Lakers. Oh, my God.
Man, just with Kemba, I was surprised, but I wasn't. I honestly thought he was going to stay in Charlotte because he had said he wanted to stay. He was actually going to give them like a hometown discount, but I guess, they didn't give him enough, for that offer from Boston was just too enticing. But maybe, him going into a big market now, that may help him or it could hurt him. I mean, he could, blossom in the, in the city in Boston, or he could, just kind of whittle out to an average player.
I have to see how much Terry Rozier got. Dear God. 3 years, $58 million. Holy shit, dude.
$19 million a year.
Dude, that's insane. Dude, his salary went from $3 million to basically $20 million. Nothing, dude. Nothing.
What, can we bring up the stats?
Dude, I already have it on stats. Dude, okay. So in 4 years in Boston, he averaged 20 minutes a game, 8 points per game. Whoa. And he shot 38% from the field. From the field. That's not even 3 points. That's from the field, everyone. And then from 3-point, he shot 35. He almost shot more from 3-point than he did from the field. What the fuck? Dude, how do you shoot 3% more from the field than 3-point? Dude, so stupid. And then from free throw, he shot 78%. Oh, geez.
Blowing him out of the water.
Oh, my God. Rebounds per game, 3.6. Whoa.
Oh.
Assists per game as a point guard, 2.3. The fuck, dude? And steals, not even 1. This is just, and he's 6'1", 190 pounds. $20 million a year. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I wish I made $20 million a year to score 8 points in a game.
Dude, $20 million a year. What the hell? Dude, and this guy averages 8 points a game. Dude, no wonder Ben Simmons is getting $170 million over 5. Dude, $20 million a year to average 8 points. What do you get? 3 rebounds a game and 2 assists per game. How does a point guard have more rebounds than assists per game? That makes no sense.
These NBA teams, man. I don't know what they just think when they're trying to get people.
Dude, if the Knicks gave Terry Rozier $20 million a year, what the? I don't know. Then Jimmy Butler, I got to move on. Jimmy Butler got a 4-year, $142 million contract with the Miami Heat. It was part of a sign-in trade. I know the Heat are trying to get Bradley Beal. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I know the Heat are trying to get Chris Paul as well. They've been in talks. They want to pair Paul with Butler. That'll go over like a fart in church. What do you think about this Jimmy Butler signing?
No, I think brings life back to Miami. It's kind of been a little off now that Dwayne Wade's gone. I mean, it's it. Jimmy Butler needed to. I'm not gonna say he needed to get out of Philadelphia, but I think he just didn't like playing with like Ben Simmons. I mean, he'll definitely be the leader of the Bulls and this whole not the Bulls, the Heat, and then you got Chris Paul. He's just old, and I don't think he's got anything to
he
really
can't stay healthy anymore.
Yeah, I just don't think he brings too much value to the Heat if he goes there.
Let's look at this clown Jimmy Butler. Dude, even Jimmy Butler, what did I say he got? $142 million over 4 years. Dude, last year he averaged 21 with Minnesota, but then with Philadelphia, he averaged 18. In his career, he's averaged 17. But since 2014, he's averaged over 20 points per game. But he's only been at, I'll say, like 21 or 22 points per game.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. That's above average. That's a solid starter, above solid.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth $142 million?
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like these teams pay the players for their name now.
Yeah, it is. It's basically all names nowadays. They don't look at stats, which I think is overly. That's why I want to be a GM. That's my ultimate job that I want to do. I want to be a GM, and I'm not going to give these clowns more. And if they want to do this whole thing, well, you can trade me if you don't want to pay me. Fuck you. I'll trade you. Dude, I'm not going to give you money that you don't deserve.
Yeah.
That's just the thing. You got to look at stats. You can't just, you're Jimmy Butler. You've been an all-star. Dude, just because you've been an all-star doesn't mean, you need production. Yeah, I get it. He's averaged 21, 22 points per game since 2014. But does that really warrant $142 million over 4 years? How much is that? 142 divided by 4. That's $36 million per year. Yeah, no. That's if you want to give me basically 20 points per game for $36 million. Dude, I'm giving you $16 million more than points per game you give me.
Yeah.
Points per game should be the millions you earn. Every point per game you make is the million you should. So if you average 35 points per game, 35 million. If you average 28 points per game, 28 million per year. If you average 8 points per game, 8 million per year.
Yeah, Ben Simmons contract going to 5 years, 80 million now.
It makes sense to me because then you get a bench player. Because then you get bench players who average like 3 points per game and get like 8 minutes are going to get like 3 million per year.
Yeah.
But it makes sense for the bigger players because some of these big players are getting like 40 million a year, 35. It's insane that they're getting paid this much money to average 20 points per game, which is basically 10 shots per game. You're only making 10.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, 10 buckets per game for $36 million a year? No. D'Angelo Russell, 4 years, $117 million contract with the Golden State Warriors. Jesus Christ. It was part of a sign and trade with the Nets. I don't get this. Now they have Curry, Thompson. Well, they cut Livingston, and they got rid of Iguodala. But now you have Curry, Thompson, and now Russell. Thompson's not going to play, but still, Russell and Curry, how's that going to work?
You're going to have to put Russell at the 2. That's the only option.
Yeah, it is. My neck is tight.
Because you're not putting Curry at 2.
Yeah, they're not going to put with his. I don't know. They could probably just do like a tandem, like split the time at point guard, that type of thing, or do a double wing. But who knows?
Maybe Klay Thompson.
117 million for D'Angelo Russell. Let's go back into the stats.
But I'm thinking maybe you put Klay Thompson at the small forward. That's another thing you can think of. If like when he comes back, that's if the Warriors don't trade Russell.
They'll probably end up trading him once Thompson comes back. So let's look at D'Angelo Russell. This year, he averaged 21 points per game, which is good. I don't know how much it warrants, though. And then before that, 15, 15, and then 13 points per game. In 2017, only played 48 games. 2016, played 63. So he has 2 years with not a lot. Well, 63 games is all right. But when you play 81 or 81 games per year, 82? Missing 20 of them basically that's a big chunk of the year. And then 48 in 2017. And over his career as a top point guard, he's averaged 28 minutes per game. So I mean, and this dude's getting 120 million.
Yeah.
Over I think only 3 years, or no, 4 years. So but he's basically getting 30 million per year, and he's averaged 16 points per game in his career. Insane. Insane. And in his career, he shoots 42% from the field. 42%. From 3, 35%, which is good. Free throw, only 76. 76 is still good. I'm not saying only 76 like it sucks, but I'm saying it's only 76 because he's getting $120 million.
Yeah.
So you're paying this guy $30 million per year for these stats, which probably warrant a lot less than this, maybe around 90 million.
Yeah.
You just have to look at the stats. I'm not saying it's only 76 like it sucks. I'm saying only 76 because of what his contract looks like. That's what you have to look at. This is why I would love to be a GM. Change the fucking landscape of the entire sports world. These clowns are getting paid way more than they should.
And it just takes away from the bench. And because then you got teams like you got 5 good starters, but then once they come off the court, your team sucks. Like your team can't do anything.
Because all your money's tied up in all these starting 5 clowns who say, "Oh, you're gonna either pay me or trade me." Those guys are clowns. DeMarcus Cousins signed a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Lakers. This contract I like. Yes. Didn't do anything last year. Was basically injured the entire time. The year before that, he had the Achilles injury. So I mean, this isn't a bad contract. It's a win-win situation for both sides. Al Horford signed a 4-year, $109 million contract with the 76ers. Let's go into this vault right here.
This guy is old as dirt.
Hey. His salary is basically the same. Dude, oh my God. Dude, 14 points per game last year and 14 points per game for his entire career. As a top power forward center in the league, he shoots 54% from field goal rate. Dude, that's not that for getting that much money.
Making over 26 million a year, that's just not it.
I don't know. It's just so dumb how these players are getting paid. And Al Horford's like a lot older, so in 4 years, you know. How old is Al Horford? All right, so he's 33 years old. So he'll be 34 going into the season. So basically when his contract's in, he's going to be 38. So basically when he's 38, you're going to be paying him however much money it is over the years. But so stupid. And then Klay Thompson signed a 5-year, $190 million contract with the Warriors. This one I like a little bit too much, but he's still a star player, and he proves it on the court. Good defensively. He can score. He rebounds, assists. He's a good player. Which I don't mind that. Chris Middleton, 5-year, $180 million with the Bucks. I like that deal. Maybe a little bit too much. He did have a good season last year. He does have potential to grow even more, which is a good thing. But a little bit, all of these contracts are too much technically, but I'm not paying him. Danny Green agreed to a 2-year, $30 million contract with the Lakers. Dear God, you're giving Danny Green $15 million per year.
Just
what is this league coming to that you're giving Danny fucking Green $15 million per year? If anything, he's around $8 or $10 million.
These GMs play with money as if it was just like, oh, here's $15 a year. That's how they treat it. Like, I feel like they just have no regard for what they pay for players.
Yeah. And then Kristaps Porzingis, who hasn't played since 1935, signed a 5-year, $160 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks. This dude was supposed to play, and then he didn't play, and then it was said he might come back at the end of the year to get some reps in, and then he didn't. Who knows what he's going to come back as. The Dallas Mavericks, probably the best Euro team in the NBA, with all these fucking Euro players they have on the team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get this contract with them, $160 million over 5 years. He's a good player. I get it. Is he worth $160 million? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, and he hasn't played in God knows how long, and who knows how he's going to come back. He could be injury prone. Off a torn ACL, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Nikola Vucevic signed a 4-year, $100 million contract with the Magic. This one's actually not that bad in my opinion. $25 million per year. I see him as around $15 to $20 million player. He's a solid center. He can help Bombo out, to grow as a center. So I like this deal. Jamal Murray signed a 5-year, $170 million contract extension with the fucking Nuggets. Holy shit. How are you giving Jamal Murray $170 million over 5? Dude, this is the same as Ben Simmons.
And maybe half the people look at Jamal Murray as like a star player.
I wouldn't even say half. If it's half, I just got called by the fucking Knicks to play. So Harrison Barnes, holy shit, this one pissed me off. Harrison Barnes signed a 4-year, $85 million contract with the fucking Kings. What the fuck, dude? How are you giving Harrison Barnes $85 million over 4 fucking years? Dude, holy shit. And listen to this one. Marc Gasol exercised a $26 million player option with the Raptors. This dude is not worth $26 million. He's like fucking like 85. He's not worth it, dude.
He's worth 2.6 million, maybe.
I need some boost oxygen right about now because I'm going nuts. And then the Nuggets are giving Millsap $30 million. And that was a team option. The team opted into his $30 million option. Isn't that in fucking insane? They're going to give Paul Millsap $30 million.
Just
that's insane.
$30 million. Oh my god,
dude, that's the same as D'Angelo Russell, and D'Angelo Russell's like 12 years old.
Yeah.
And then Marvin Williams, obviously, is going to exercise this $15 million player option with the Hornets, because who else is going to give him $15 million? Probably. I mean, and then the Hornets are going to pay Bismack Biyombo $17 million. So they have $20 million and Terry Rozier, $17 million and Bismack Biyombo, and $15 million in Marvin Williams. Let me add this up because this is just a clown show. 20 plus 17 plus 15, $52 million tied up in these 3 clowns who together probably average negative 15 points. So, I mean, holy shit, man. And then Ricky Rubio got 3 years, $51 million. A little high, but what are you going to do? A great signing, in my opinion, Al-Farouq Aminu signed with the Magic. 3 years, $30 million. $10 million a year is good for him. I like that. Let me see what else here. DeAndre Jordan, 4 years, $40 million contract with the Nets. I think that's not enough for him. Dude, $10 million a year. This dude averages like 15 rebounds a game.
Mm-hmm.
He gets the blocks. He gets the rebounds. He can easily average 15, 20 points a game. He's a defensive monster.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's a solid center in the league. He should be getting 15 million around there, in my opinion.
Hey,
Marcus Morris signed a 1-year, $15 million contract with the Knicks. A little bit high for him. I think he's a solid player, though. JJ Redick, 2 years, $27 million with the Pelicans. Not that bad. I think it's a good range for him. Basically like $14 million per year, which is good for a 3-and-D player, which is good. Pat Beverly got 3 years, $40 million with the Clippers. I think that's a good signing for them. Other than that, there's really nothing worth talking about. Yeah, because then you get it. Oh, well, Julius Randle, we could talk about that since we're both Knicks fans. 3 years, $63 million with the Knicks. I don't mind this signing. We haven't talked about this. What do you think about this signing?
It's a decent signing, after not getting any of the real star players. I think it's going to help. I think the Knicks are in a better spot than people are thinking. They're still going to have money for the future.
I'm not going to lie. I think they had a good offseason.
Yeah, they're going to be better than they were last year. I think they're still young. They're not old.
Dude, listen to these signings. Dude, young players who can defend, shoot threes, everything. Dude, they got Julius Randle, who technically had an all-star season last year, somehow didn't go to the game. I think he averaged, like 23 points, 9 rebounds, and I think like 5 assists. So basically really like 20, 10, and 5 last year. That's good. And then you add him and Mitchell Robinson as your 4 and 5. Dude, that's a nice combination right there, defensively and offensively.
Mm-hmm.
But hey. And then they got Marcus Morris, 1 year, $50 million, as we just said. Taj Gibson they signed, Bobby Portis, Reggie Bullock, Wayne Ellington, Elfrid Payton. Dude, I'm not saying these are crazy signings and they're going to get us number 1 seed. I'm saying like Ellington's a nice piece for the bench. Bullock's a great piece for the bench. Payton might start over DSJ, I've heard. But still, even if he doesn't, Elfrid Payton's a good spot for the bench. Portis, Gibson, Moore. Dude, these are good bench signings. Like we're probably going to have one of the best benches in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a lot of average players that a lot of benches in the NBA don't have.
Yeah.
But the reason why people are going to say we suck is because we don't have a lot of star power. But I can get behind a starting lineup of DSJ, RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. And then you add a 6-man in Marcus Morris, a veteran off the bench in Taj Gibson, who's a good defender and rebounder, Bobby Portis, who can – let me look at Bobby Portis. This was an underrated signing. Bobby Portis, dude, he averaged 14 points per game the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going to get him off the bench? That's not a bad signing.
Not at all.
But I think the Knicks had a good offseason, and they still have a little bit of cap left, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if they could sneak their way into like maybe the back half of the playoffs this year, that's going to make a lot of people, like the Stars, interested.
Yes, I would not be shocked if they did trade like a Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina in a first rounder for like a star forward or something like that. Hey, we can realistically see the Knicks buy at the deadline this year.
Yeah.
That can be a realistic option. If they're in that 7th or 8th spot, even the 9th or 10th, and they're somewhat in there, all it takes is, you've seen it in the NBA, all it takes is one star to get you up to that 5 seed.
Mm-hmm. And then
all it takes is that one star to give you a couple games at the end of the year that propel you up into that 5 or 6 seed.
Yeah, and then once you get up there, I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs.
And this team has seasoned veterans as well. Off the bench and in the start, you got DSJ going into his, I think, 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's getting into that, groove. RJ Barrett, who I'm not even worried about him as a rookie because he has that star potential to just go off right off the bat. And then you have Kevin Knox going into his 2nd year, and he looks really good. Julius Randle, I think, going into his 4th or 5th year. And then Mitchell Robinson, who was a stud last year once they put him in the starting rotation. Ooh, my AC just kicked on.
But you look at it.
Then you have a deep bench behind them, a veteran in Marcus Morris who has playoff, experience, Taj Gibson. Bobby Portis, I think, is going into his 4th or 5th year as well. It's just a solid team. Then you have Reggie Bullock, who's been in the league for years. Elfrid Payton, who's been in for, I think, also 3 or 4 years. So it's guys that are not veterans like 9 or 10 years, but they're crisp guys who are still on that younger side, basically in their prime of what they're going to be doing in their career.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think, the Knicks almost played it smart by not wasting all their money on a Kevin Durant who's not going to play for them next year.
And then a Kyrie Irving. I wasn't a big fan of signing Irving and KD. At first, before KD got injured, I was into it. But then when he got injured, I was like, I don't want to do this. If KD was healthy and Kyrie was, all set to go, I would have no problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
But when KD got injured and then Irving was kind of topsy-turvy on what team to go to, I was like, no.
Yeah.
So, it iced my neck. Overall free agency was crazy, as everyone knew it was going to be. A winner in free agency, definitely the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the Lakers. We'll get into that a little bit later because we do have a question on that if they are playoff contenders. But we're going to get into NFL right now since we've been talking about NBA for I don't even know how long.
A half hour now.
Yeah, an hour. Wait, is it an hour?
I think we started around 1:20.
So yes, like 40 minutes. The NFL will not suspend wide receiver Tyreek Hill. I don't know why. I'll let you go first, and as a Chargers fan, I'll go second.
It's an interesting call. I think it was always in that 50-50, state. I think it could have went either way. And it's still open, so if anything does come to fruition, there can be a suspension made, or even just, if it's really solid evidence, like he could just be banned from the league. Honestly, I think it's the right call just because they leave it open. If they closed it and said, all right, that's it, like it's over, then I would have not agreed with it. But I like what they're doing with it. So if anything does come to, comes up in the air and then it is solid evidence, then, yeah,
Let me ask you a sports journalistic question. If he did get suspended, what do you think he should have got suspended for?
What he should have been suspended for, or how long?
How long should he have been suspended for?
Oh, how long? I would say probably 6 games if they be consistent. 6 to 8 games. Just being consistent.
I think if he really did do it, he shouldn't be in the league. And I'm saying that as a human being, not just a Chargers fan, saying, he should be suspended. No, I think he should be seriously. If he did do it and they found good enough evidence, he should be out of the league. I think someone who's hitting their kids, breaking their arms, and saying all this stuff and hitting his pregnant wife, dude, there's no room for that in any. If you did that in your job in real life, you'd be done. Any job. Yeah. If you're working at fucking Arby's, anywhere, a gas station, Wendy's, you name it, you would get fired. If you were under investigation for that and everyone like, oh, you were hitting your kids and shit, your job's not going to want you no matter where you are.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's just a fucking clown. The only good thing about him is his speed.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really route run, doesn't really have great hands. He's just quick as shit and can blow by people. Other than that, whatever. Speed runs out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
You're not going to have your speed forever. And seen it with plenty of stars throughout the sports world. But I think he should have been suspended, even if it's 6 games or whatever. But I don't think he should be in the league if he actually did this stuff.
Yeah, and the evidence is kind of iffy.
The evidence is murky. At first, he definitely did do it, and then he didn't do it, and then people were like, oh, well, he might have done it, and now it's like, who cares? It's like, what timeline is that? He definitely did do it, didn't do it. Oh, well, he might have done it. we don't really care anymore. What the fuck is up with the NFL? Someone hits a joint one time, they're out 4 games. Someone punches their kid in the face. Oh, well, let's not punish him too hard.
Yeah.
He punished the kid more than the NFL punished him. Whatever. But next, we're going to move into the Melvin Gordon situation. He said, if you don't sign me for more money, trade me. He's getting $5.6 million for this next year. I think he deserves more, but as everyone knows, running backs are a dime a dozen in this league. You can pick up a running back at the back of a Burger King, and he could probably give you 100 yards. That's just how it is. It's how the system works. It's how your offensive line works for you, what your offensive coordinator does. Like, the holes are basically made for you, what the defense gives you, how they're stacking the box. What do you think about Melvin Gordon? You think he should be extended and given more money or traded?
I mean, I think he should get more money. I think $5.6 million is a little low, but also I feel like he just shouldn't hold out. I don't like when players hold out because then it just shows how you're all in it for the money.
Yeah, if you're just gonna be a fucking clown and hold out, I don't like that.
Yeah,
I think if you want to hold out, that just shows you don't care about the team. And if I'm another team, say I'm the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're in need for a running back, basically. Any team's in need for a running back if they're not a top 10. And this guy holds out. You think I'm going to trade for your ass? No. Because you're going to do the same thing to us in 4 years, and I'm not going to go through that. And if you're just going to be once a clown, always a clown. It just shows they don't care about the team. They just want their money.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a player that wants to win instead of a player that wants to get paid.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather have a player that wants to get a ring instead of a player that wants to just get paid. You know what I mean? But I don't like when players take those 1 year, $5 million contracts. No, get paid what you deserve, maybe a little bit under, and then go. Like Brady, he takes a little bit. He takes a little bit less. Like, he should be here, but he's about here. He doesn't go here. He goes about here. You know.
No, that's one thing I do. That's one thing I respect about Tom Brady. Like, obviously, he's taking those pay cuts to help the team, and then you got Melvin Gordon. He's like, well, I just want money. I don't care if, it affects us. I just want more money. And I feel like the Chargers could easily replace him.
Might have to lace up my helmet here.
Yeah.
If it fits. I'll play running back.
There you go.
It's about to be me after I get the CTE.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather have a player that wants to go out there and win a ring. Because if a player wants to win a ring, they'll fight for you every night. If a player just wants their money, they'll go out there and half-ass games just because they're getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the player wants to win a championship, I get it's ring chasing, but they're still going to try their hardest every night to win the ring. If a player wants the most money, they'll go out there and half-ass it and say, oh, I'm getting paid. Like, I don't like clowns like that. So in my opinion, give Melvin Gordon his money. If he's going to be cool about it, don't overpay him. Give him, what he wants, as long as it's not something absurd. Give him what he deserves.
Okay. His stats aren't even that great. His most average yards per game per year is 76, and that was in 2016. I mean, he's not even
No, but the thing is, he's productive. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he could rush. That's the thing. But the problem with him is he'll have a game with like 40 yards, and then he'll have another game with like 120 yards. So it's like there's really no sometimes there's an in-between, but most of the time it's either a lot of yards or it's not that much. So, but he does score a lot of touchdowns as well. That's the good thing with him. You can rely on him to get those touchdowns. But Chargers have always been a pass-first team. That's the thing. That's why I don't really want to pay him that much, because I'd rather just trade him, maybe get a pick and like a wide receiver. It's not like, give me something back. Mm-hmm. Like a player and a pick. I like that for him since he's a younger player, I should say, and can still produce. Melvin Gordon he's a good running back. He's a top 10 running back in the league. He does deserve to get paid, but should we overpay him? No. If he wants to get overpaid than what he should get, trade him.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not too much, then I don't mind.
So you got behind him Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler, He was rated as a top 15, top 20 running back last year.
Yeah, and if he gets the main starting touches, then I think he could develop into a top 10, top 5 running back.
Dude, he can easily be a top 10 running back, easily, if you put him in the starting rotation. And then you have Justin Jackson behind him, who just grilled the Steelers.
Yeah.
So enough for all that stuff. We're going to get into WWE Extreme Rules recap. I was there in Philadelphia on Sunday, as I said, working for WWE. I was on TV. If you go back and watch, look for the Los Angeles Chargers shirt. My tweet went viral. It now has over 220,000 views, over 700 retweets, and over 2,500 likes, I believe, and over 100 comments on it. So go like and retweet that. We could send out our socials right now. Degnan _Matt is mine. That's last name first, first name last. What is your handle over there, Dom?
Not quite first name, last name first, but we got at DomCaps11.
DomCaps11.
Yeah, there.
So you're going to be returning to the Mario Chaos the Kid podcast when you come back?
Of course, I was. I got to talk to Big Daddy last night. Said he wants me back in, so I'll
come back
definitely
in. You could be a weekly stay on the Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast. Might not get on every night, but you could still be, in the crowd as we have a live audience. So we'll get into Extreme Rules right now. In the kickoff show, Shinsuke Nakamura beat Finn Balor for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. Did you watch Extreme Rules?
No, unfortunately, I have not yet. I actually plan on going back and watching it, though.
There we go, Dom. You can log into my WWE network if you want.
Oh, yeah?
You can log into that.
Definitely have to do that then.
And then in the other kickoff match, Gulak versus Tony Nese. Gulak retained his Cruiserweight Championship. And in the kickoff match of the night, this was the kickoff match, Roman Reigns and The Undertaker versus Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Reigns and Taker took the win over the other two clowns. In the Raw Tag Team Championship match, the Revival retained their Raw Tag Team Championships. Pretty good match. And one of the matches of the night coming up, Aleister Black versus Cesaro. Aleister Black hit the Black Mass and pinned Cesaro clean. It was a really good match. Handicap match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley retained over Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Last man standing match, Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley. Braun Strowman won. If you go to Degnan _Matt, my pinned tweet shows the ending of this match. Did you watch that video, Dom?
Yes.
You saw how we got slammed through?
Yeah.
Did you see? You didn't watch it, though. You'll see me on TV if you watch it. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of people looking at the kid. Triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The New Day won that. That was a pretty good match. New champion. So now, I don't want to spoil it. United States Championship match. Ricochet versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles beat Ricochet to become the new United States Championship. Pretty good match. Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens beat Dolph Ziggler in basically 5 seconds, but it was 17 seconds because of WWE rules. But whatever.
What is the rule on that?
What?
What is the rule on that? What's the official rule?
Well, basically, they'll ring the bell and then they walk around for a little bit. But as soon as the match started, Kevin Owens kick, stunner, 1, 2, 3. The match was 17 seconds long, but whatever. WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe. Kofi Kingston retained his title. So now New Day holds the WWE Championship by Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods and Big E hold the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. They hold all the gold except the Intercontinental Championship over on SmackDown. They are running stuff over there. That match was all right. Wasn't, anything crazy. Then the main event, I should say loosely. I don't know if you heard about this news. Extreme Rules mixed tag team match for the Universal and Raw Women's Championship. It was a winner-take-all. Rollins and Becky Lynch retained over Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. It was an all right match. Nothing crazy. I don't know how the fuck Bleacher Report. I was reading these grades a couple days ago, and Bleacher Report gave it an A+. If that match was a fucking A+, me and you can put on light years ahead of what that was. And then after the match, Brock Lesnar cashed in his Money in the Bank contract, and he pinned Seth Rollins. And I don't think Brock Lesnar deserves it. He shows up about every 3 weeks, every month. I think he's a clown. He shouldn't be championship in any promotion. Free agent Justin Holiday has signed a 1-year, $4.8 million contract with the Indiana Pacers. Ooh. So next we're going to get into the halftime viewer mail. But I'll say overall, Extreme Rules was a good show. Well-paced. There were some, star-studded matches in there. Good, overall title changes. If you watch it, I definitely want to hear your input and everything. Next, we're going to get into the halftime viewer mail. I'm going to pass this one over to you. Can the Red Sox salvage this season and make a push to the playoffs? This is from Dan in Boston, Massachusetts.
Can they salvage it? Yes. Will they? I don't know. Because they're not as bad as they were to start the season. And they're only 2 games out of the wild card. And I think Tampa Bay, just down the stretch, I mean, their lack of offense is going to hurt them. I don't think the Rays are going to make the playoffs. I think, honestly, I could see it being Rays and Twins in the wild card game because the Twins have been on a massive downfall. They were 11 games up on the Indians, and now they're 3 up.
Big Daddy and I were talking about that last night before the podcast. We're talking about how the Twins are actually overrated in our opinions, and we both agreed on that. I don't know if Big Daddy's listening right now. If he is, then, what's up? A lot of love for Big Daddy Cock. So you think the Yankees are set in stone winners, AL East?
I think it is. I think 8 games is just too much for the Rays to come back in 10 games.
Come out of the AL.
As of right now, yes. I don't think anyone in the American League could beat the Yankees.
They win the World Series.
Yeah. I mean, I think when the only team that could maybe touch them in the NL right now, maybe the Dodgers. That's a big maybe. And I think when they play each other in a 4-game series, I think coming up, that could be a big indication of what could happen, what we could see.
That's going to be must-see TV. You can almost guarantee one of those games is definitely going to go like 14 innings. Because whenever 2 really good teams face each other, you're guaranteed to have one of those long, drawn-out games, one of those pitching duels that ends in like 3-2 or 2-1. It'll be interesting. I think the last time the Yankees played the Dodgers was a couple years ago, if I'm right.
Yeah, I think it's been – because they play each division once. So, yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. I've actually seen the Dodgers play in Los Angeles and in Chicago. So I went to a home game in LA, and then I went to an away game against the Cubs in Chicago. Pretty good team. Next question. Will the Mets trade starting pitcher Zach Wheeler or Noah Syndergaard? This is from Rick in Siesta Key, Florida. Zach Wheeler is gaining a lot of attention. I know the Rays have been in contact with the Mets, and they've been going back and forth with packages. Noah Syndergaard, he's unlikely to get traded, but I know they've been in talks with a few teams. I know the Yankees have a lot of interest in him. Where do you think Wheeler or Syndergaard can go?
I don't see Syndergaard being moved. Wheeler, like the Rays, yeah, I guess maybe, but I don't know what the Rays are. They're lacking offense. Their pitching is fine. They're just lacking offense, so I'm not too sure
in my opinion, the Rays need another starting pitcher. They need one more starting pitcher, and their bullpen's fine, in my opinion. If they want to add 1 or 2 more people, go ahead, but I think add Zach Wheeler, but then still get some more offense.
But how much can you realistically give up for Zach Wheeler?
I don't think it's going to take that much to get Zach Wheeler. If they want to get Noah Syndergaard's not worth it. He's not having a good year. Hey, but you never know. Some people, they get traded, and then the next half of the season, they're Nolan Ryan. So who knows? Noah Syndergaard. How many episodes have we been talking about Noah Syndergaard getting traded?
It's the recurring theme, and I just don't see it happening. Maybe in the offseason, but not now. It's going to be too much of an asking price for him. Yeah.
Will Mickey Callaway last the whole season? This is also from Rick in Siesta Key, Florida. An avid listener to the Open Table Sports podcast, and he's also an avid listener of the Mario Chaos and the Kid podcast on all platforms. So do you think Mickey Callaway will last the whole season?
Yeah. Knowing the Mets, I think he will. Just knowing the Mets.
What are you going to do? Fire him in August when you're 50 games out of fucking playoffs? Like, just keep him the whole season.
Yeah.
We'll get into this one. This one's going to be a good discussion. Are the Lakers serious title contenders? This is from Angelo in Tampa Bay, Florida. Serious contenders for the title? I don't think so. Let me get their roster real quick. I'll flip it to you.
I think they're maybe a 4 or 5 seed in the West right now. But I don't think they have...
Dude, just listen to the West. The Warriors, the Nuggets, the Trailblazers, the Rockets, the Jazz, Thunder you could rule out, Spurs you could rule out, then the Clippers, and then the Lakers. And then you have a much improved Pelicans team and a pretty improved Mavericks team. And don't sleep on the Suns. And the reason I say that is they have Ricky Rubio at the 1, Devin Booker at the 2, also Mikal Bridges behind him, Kelly Oubre, Dario Saric, and DeAndre Ayton. That's a nice starting 5 right there. And then you also have Cameron Johnson on the bench, Mikal Bridges, Ty Jerome, Aaron Baines, Frank Kaminsky. So they do have good bench pieces. They're still a pretty young team. But Ricky Rubio, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre, Dario Saric, and DeAndre Ayton, that's a good starting 5. Yeah. And I would say they have an average bench behind that. You know, an above average starting 5 and an average bench. That can get you a 6, 7, 8 seed. But with how competitive the West is, they're going to be fighting, a little bit. But Mavericks have improved. Pelicans have improved. Suns have improved drastically. Lakers have improved. Clippers have improved. Even the Jazz. Rockets have improved. All these teams have improved even more. None of them have really gotten worse, except for the Warriors, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Losing Kevin Durant, not going to have Klay Thompson, cut Sean Livingston. DeMarcus Cousins is gone. Andre Iguodala is gone. Jordan Bell is gone.
I mean, just with the Warriors, I mean, they're going to drop.
Didn't Kevon Looney sign elsewhere? Or no, he resigned, right?
Yeah, I believe he resigned.
He resigned, but still, dude, this is probably going to be the 8 in the West for playoffs. Warriors, Nuggets, Trailblazers, Rockets, Jazz. This isn't the order, but by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I would say Lakers, and then that's what, 7 right there. So then it's going to be a fight for that 8 between Pelicans, Mavericks, and Suns.
Yeah.
Maybe the Kings. I don't see the Kings. Not the Timberwolves. Maybe the Timberwolves. But they haven't added that much. So you basically have 7 locked up. And then 8 is just going to be a free-for-all. So, I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I don't think the Lakers are going to be title contenders. Who knows what's going to happen in the playoffs. But let's go to their roster. Your starting point guard, LeBron James. And then your 2 guard, Danny Green, making $500 million a year. And then Kyle Kuzma at small forward, Anthony Davis at the 4, and then DeMarcus Cousins at the 5. That's a big fucking lineup right there. LeBron, who's like 6'9" at point guard. Let me see how tall Danny Green is. Danny Green is 6'7". So 6'7" Danny Green, 6'10" Kyle Kuzma, 6'10" Anthony Davis, and then 6'11" DeMarcus Cousins. So you don't have anyone under 6'7" in your entire lineup. And your shortest guy is your small forward or a shooting guard.
Yeah.
That's 6'7". So that's going to be interesting. That's a good starting 5. What bench do they have? 40-year-old Rajon Rondo, Quinn Cook, Avery Bradley, Alex Caruso, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Jared Dudley, and JaVale McGee. How I would rate that one is average, maybe a little bit under average. I think it's a little bit too old. I think it's a little bit too mediocre, in my opinion. I think starting 5, honestly, could probably end up being the best in the league. But what's really going to kill them is age and lack of talent on the bench.
Yeah, because, I mean, LeBron's not going to can't keep going out there. He's been injury prone the last couple of years. I mean, he's not going to go out there and play.
No, I was thinking that, and then I looked at the games he played. If you look at before last year, 82, 74, 76, 69, 77, 76. So yeah, he hasn't played, but in 2017 he did play a full season. But years before that, he was missing games, but most of them were for rest. If you remember that whole thing, with teams resting players. But last year he only played 55. But we did talk about his averages and stuff like that a couple episodes ago. If you want to go back and listen to that, but I think the bench is definitely below average in my opinion. At most it's average, but all you're gonna have to worry about is injuries. DeMarcus Cousins, injury prone. You look at Anthony Davis; he's had lingering injuries for a little while now. LeBron James, as we saw last year. Kyle Kuzma is very inconsistent. And then Danny Green, he's a good shooting guard. But it is a team that's on the older side. These are years of experience. I'm just going to rattle them off. 6, 16, 13, 10, 9, another 6, 7, 12, 9, 11. So they do have a lot of guys who have experience but are on that side of, whoa, it's a little too much experience.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's not a team that I could see, dominating. If they do end up getting to the championship, it's not dominance. It's going 5, 6, 7 games in series. And, I don't see too many sweeps in their future with this team.
No.
Especially with LeBron at point guard. I don't know. I get he's LeBron and everything, but, he's going into his 17th year, and he's going to be, I think, 35, 34? 36,
something around there. So,
yeah. How old is LeBron James? He's 34. But when the season ends, by the time playoff comes, he's gonna be 35. So I mean, 35-year-old leading your team at point guard. I don't know, especially with the injuries he had last year. I'm not saying this team is definitely gonna be shit. I'm just saying that there are too many variables of it going bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when there's so many red flags, you can't have too much optimism in a team.
Because, I mean, LeBron goes down, then what happens?
Then that team is, even if Anthony Davis goes down, then you're stuck with DeMarcus Cousins and Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green.
Yeah, not getting saved there.
Danny Green, he's all right. I mean, he's not crazy. He can give you about 10 to 15 points per game, if that. Then Kuzma, he's an inconsistent player, and his spotlight is definitely going to go down. Anthony Davis, we all know what he could do. I would say the two major factors is what the bench can do for the Lakers and how DeMarcus Cousins fares.
Yeah.
Those are the two big questions in my opinion. But hey, move on in this. Are they serious title contenders?
No.
I don't think so. There's going to be too many teams to go through in the playoffs that they're just going to be worn out, in my opinion, if they do make it far. Do you think they're title contenders?
No. I honestly wouldn't even expect them to be in the Western Conference Finals.
I don't expect that either. But hey, people always have their crazy takes. It's just our opinions, people. Don't put us on freezing cold takes. It's just our opinions. Some people might say the same thing about the 76ers. Some people might have different. Some people might think the Lakers are the best team in the league. It happens in sports. People have said, this team is the best league and they're clear-cut winners, and then they end up being shit. It happens all the time, people. It's sports. This is our opinion. We don't think they're going to be that good, but hey, whatever. Will the Rockets be able to work together? This is also from Angelo in Tampa Bay, Florida. I'll go first. Will Rockets be able to work together? Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it's not like Russell and, James haven't played together before.
Yeah. They didn't have, like, a beef or anything.
Yeah, then you had Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker and then Clint Capella. I like this Rockets team, man. Westbrook and Harden, they can give you 60 points a game on 500 shots.
Yeah.
Dude, but that team, I want to see their field goal attempts per game just by the 1 and 2 position.
Yeah.
I bet they set a record next year for shots attempted per game. Easily.
And I mean, Russell Westbrook, his assists should go up.
Yeah, because you got Westbrook at the 1, Harden at the 2. That's probably the best guard duo in the league.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another guard duo that could be better than that. I don't know. I can't think of it.
Maybe maybe Curry and Russell if they work it out.
If they work it out, yeah. I'm talking a true 1 and a true 2 because people forget that Harden was a true shooting guard.
Yeah.
And he had to get moved to point guard when Paul got injured and everything like that. But Harden is a shooting guard.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you look at, I don't know about their bench. Their bench is definitely below average. And then at small forward, you have Eric Gordon, power forward, PJ Tucker, and starting center Clint Capella. You look at behind that, whoa, Nelly. Here's the names they have on their bench. Tyson Chandler, Nene, Kenneth Faried, Daniel House Jr., Gerald Green, Iman Shumpert. That's definitely below average. If anybody says that's above average, please comment on this. And I want to know why you think it's above average. But I think their starting 5 is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Their starting 5 could definitely be a top 10, maybe top 5 in the league.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But, hey, what do we know?
Yeah.
So, and then you have Austin Rivers as well. Ooh. So, that's a good team, though. And last year, they were the 4 seed. Basically, you're just switching out Paul and Westbrook. And Westbrook is a huge upgrade over Chris Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And they went 53-29. And you give someone that Harden has chemistry with and won't fight with.
Mm-hmm.
Clint Capella has another year. Gordon and PJ Tucker, I think, is a great forward tandem at the 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
They could easily be a 55 and over win team because they improved and they were 4 games back from first place last year.
They could be in real threat for that 1 seed.
Oh, definitely. That's it for the halftime view. Remember, we're going to go to the quick pitch. Cavaliers waived guard J.R. Smith. Rockets signed center Tyson Chandler to a 1-year contract. Bulls signed forward Luke Cornett to a 2-year, $4.5 million contract. Chris Paul is expected to start the season on the Thunder. The Heat's interest for Wizards guard Bradley Beal is increasing. NHL, we're going to that. Senators traded left wing Zach Smith to the Blackhawks for center Artem Anisimov, if I said that right. All these fucking names. Going to the other, Novak Djokovic won his 5th Wimbledon title. Simona Halep won her first Wimbledon title. Kurt Busch won the Quaker State 400 at Kentucky. Ooh. Shane Lowry leads the Open at 9 under. Tiger Woods misses the cut at 6 over. Whoa. You do that set blindfolded. MLB, Cubs acquired catcher Martin Maldonado. I love his name. Saying it.
Yeah.
Martin Maldonado from the Royals for pitcher Mike Montgomery. The Red Sox released utility man Eduardo Nunez. The Red Sox are going to activate starting pitcher Nathan Eovaldi this weekend. Red Sox acquired starting pitcher Andrew Cashner from the Orioles for 2 prospects, Norbith Romero and Elo Prado.
And he had a heck of a debut too with the Red Sox.
Dude, he was awful. Dude, even my grandma's a Red Sox fan. She's like, oh, he was terrible. Athletics acquired starting pitcher Homer Bailey from the Royals. Mets traded relieving pitcher Wilmer Font to the Blue Jays for cash. Phillies signed pitcher Drew Smyly. Diamondbacks are looking to trade outfielder Adam Jones. Yankees acquired outfielder Terrence Gore from the Royals for cash. The Giants will be sellers at the deadline. Cardinals are looking to trade young outfielders and pitcher Carlos Martinez. Brewers are in talks with the Giants about relieving pitcher Will Smith. He's a left-handed pitcher. Orioles are receiving interest in relieving pitcher Michael Givens. Cardinals moved pitcher Michael Wacha to the bullpen yet again. And the Rays will be buyers at the deadline, I heard.
Makes sense.
The Spurs, update, the Spurs are pissed over Marcus Morris signing with the Knicks instead of them.
Yeah.
Pissed. Pissed off or pissed on, Dom?
Pissed off.
Pissed off? I'm going to have to go pissed off as well. NFL, Falcons signed linebacker Deion Jones to a 4-year, $57 million contract extension. Falcons signed defensive tackle Grady Jarrett to a 4-year, $66 million contract extension. 49ers signed kicker Robbie Gould to a 4-year, $20 million contract extension. happening today. Bills signed safety Kurt Coleman to a 1-year contract. Defensive end Robert Ayers retired from the NFL. Guard Clint Bowling retired from the NFL. Raiders signed guard Jonathan Cooper. And outside linebacker Derek Morgan retired from the NFL. That was the Open Table Sports podcast this week, ladies and gentlemen, episode 25. That's pretty much it. We talked a lot about NBA and NFL. I'm glad we got in depth on some stuff today. Today was a good episode, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Tonight we have Friday Night Alley Fights in East Haven, 662 Co Avenue. Pop out for that. It's going to be one of the best alley fights of the year. We have the King of Paradise tournament culminating tonight in the finals. And then we have Sammy Diaz versus Ty Shine for the PAPW Alley Fights Championship. I will be covering that event. It'll be very fun tonight. It's going to be a great atmosphere. It's going to be a lot of people there. It's going to be packed. Coming off Feast Not Famine from last Saturday, it was a crazy event. Last week, a lot of title changes. Can't wait to have you back, Dom, for those PAPW events. Next up for PAPW, their next big event is Rumble in Paradise in Shelton, Connecticut on August 10th. So that'll be a pretty big event there. What else I have coming up? Like orientation for school, work tomorrow night. Other than that, nothing huge coming up. Thank you for listening. Make sure you follow us on everything. Just Open Table Sports. That's pretty much it. I don't know how long we went today. We went pretty long. I think
just over an hour, probably hour 15.
For sure. But that's it for today. Make sure you follow us on our social media. Mine is Degnan _Matt. His is Dom Caps 11. Make sure you listen to Mario Cast and the Kid Podcast as well. Thank you.